Jenny drops heartbreaking news for Sumit, a new chapter of separation and change. The cameras were rolling, as usual, capturing every detail of Jenny and Sumit's long and often turbulent relationship. But this time, there was something different, something that would change the course of their story. It was a warm evening in India, and the sky had just begun to lose its golden hue. The air was filled with the usual sounds of bustling streets, children playing, and the low hum of the fans circulating air in the small apartment Jenny and Sumit shared. This was supposed to be just another normal day. However, as Jenny sat at the small wooden table, her hands tightly clasped, the tension was palpable. Sumit walked into the room, his face breaking into his usual, easy smile, but when he noticed Jenny's solemn expression, something shifted in the air. He set down the groceries he had just bought and sat across from her. His eyes, dark and expressive, searched hers, trying to decipher the sudden shift in her mood. "Jenny, what's wrong?" he asked softly, his voice laced with concern. Jenny took a deep breath, her lips quivering. Her heart felt like it was racing against her chest, the weight of the decision she was about to make bearing down on her. This wasn't something she ever expected to have to say to Sumit. She had hoped, for years, that the struggles and barriers they had faced would eventually give way to a happily ever after. But life had a different story to tell. "I'm leaving," Jenny said, the words coming out in a soft, broken whisper. Sumit's face froze. He blinked twice, as if the words hadn't quite registered in his brain. "Leaving?" he repeated. "But why?" Jenny shifted in her chair, looking out of the small window at the swaying trees and the life happening beyond the glass. It felt as if the world outside was moving on, while she was frozen in a moment of heartbreak and difficult choices. "Sumit, it's just too much," she continued, her voice trembling. "I can't keep doing this. I can't keep hoping that things will change when they haven't. It's like we're stuck in this cycle, and no matter how hard I try, nothing seems to get better." Sumit leaned forward, his face now etched with a mix of confusion and hurt. "But Jenny, we've been through so much together. I thought we were building something. Are you saying that all of this, everything we've been through, doesn't mean anything to you?" Jenny shook her head, fighting back the tears that threatened to fall. "No, Sumit, that's not what I'm saying. I love you more than anything, but love isn't always enough. We've been apart more than we've been together. The distance, the family drama, the cultural barriers, it's all too much. I feel like I'm losing myself here, and I don't want to lose who I am anymore." Sumit sat back in his chair, his face crumpling with the realization that this was happening. The life they had both fought so hard for was slipping through their fingers. He tried to gather his thoughts, to say something that would make her change her mind, but the words seemed stuck in his throat, as if he could no longer find the language to fix what was broken. "I thought we were finally past all the obstacles," Sumit whispered, the sadness in his voice unmistakable. "We're still together. Jenny, we've made it this far. We can't just give up now." Jenny's eyes welled with tears as she met his gaze. "I don't want to give up. I want this to work more than you can understand. But sometimes love isn't enough to overcome everything. The trust issues, the pressure from your family. I'm tired, Sumit. I can't keep fighting alone." Her words hung in the air between them, heavy and suffocating. Sumit reached out, his hand trembling as he took hers. He felt the coldness of her skin and the finality in the way she pulled away just a little too quickly. "I've always loved you, Jenny," Sumit said, his voice cracking. "Since the first day we met, I've wanted nothing but to be with you. I don't know what to do without you." Jenny closed her eyes, wiping away a tear. "I know, and I've loved you too. But love doesn't mean we can force something to work that just isn't. We've been through so much already. And now, I think it's time for me to go home." Sumit's face paled, as if the weight of her words was physically crushing him. "Home? Jenny, this is your home now. You've been here for years. Your life is here. How can you just leave everything behind?" Jenny looked down at her hands, her heart breaking with every word she spoke. "I thought it was my home too, Sumit, but I've been disconnected from everything I know for so long. I've missed my family, my friends, the small things that made me feel grounded. I'm not the same person I was when I came here, and maybe it's time for me to reconnect with that." There was a long silence, broken only by the sound of the fan whirring in the background. Sumit could hardly comprehend what was happening. He had always known that Jenny was different from other women he had known in his life, but he never thought she would leave him, leave everything they had built together. "I don't want you to go, Jenny," Sumit finally said, his voice barely a whisper. But I can't make you stay if you're not happy. If this is what you need, then I'll respect it. But I don't know how to let you go. Jenny's heart shattered at his words. She had spent so long envisioning a future with him, imagining their life together, despite all the obstacles. And yet, here they were, faced with the painful reality that love alone couldn't fix everything. I'm sorry, Jenny whispered, her voice shaking. I really am. This is the hardest thing I've ever had to do, but I need to do this for me. I need to find a way to be whole again. Sumit stood up from the table. Walking over to the small window, he stared out into the street, where life went on as it always did. The colors of the sunset reflected in his eyes, but they couldn't dull the ache that was growing inside him. I never wanted you to feel alone here, Sumit said quietly, turning back to face her. I never wanted you to feel like you had to choose between me and your own happiness. Jenny stood up, her body trembling, and walked over to him. She placed a hand gently on his shoulder, trying to offer a comfort she didn't know how to give. I know you didn't, Sumit, she replied softly, but sometimes, we have to choose ourselves, even if it hurts. With those final words, the weight of their shared history hung in the air. There were no more promises to be made, no more hopes to cling to. All that was left was the painful reality of parting ways. Jenny turned and walked toward the door, her heart heavy with the decision. Sumit stayed by the window, unable to move, as the sound of her footsteps faded away. It wasn't supposed to be like this, but sometimes, love didn't have the power to fix everything. This heart-wrenching moment leaves a lot of room for reflection on the complexities of relationships and the sacrifices that come with them. Would you like me to expand on any particular aspects of their journey?